It was the sort of day for doing almost anything, and everyone was busy with this and that. Everyone except George. George didn't think he could do this or that. So George did nothing. I bet we've all had times like that, haven't we, over the last few weeks? We just don't want to do anything. Hi, George, said Otter. And what are you up to? Oh, nothing, said George. Well, why don't you come and do some painting with me, said Otter. That does look good, said George. Oh, I can't paint. Come and do some dancing with us then, said Hedgehog. That does sound fun, said George. I can't dance. Then Badger asked George if he might like to play skittles. Oh, that does look smashing, said George. Only I can't play skittles. You could help me. Fly my kite, said Fox. Or try a spot of roller skating, said Beaver. I'd love to, but I can't, said George rather sadly. My paws are too fumbly and fiddly for flying kites, and I can't do roller skating. I'm a little bit wobbly. So George did nothing. Now Bear had been watching all of this, and he was a smart bear. He was as smart as he was old, and she was very, very old. She took a sheet of paper, folded it once, twice, 3 times more. George, said Bear, come over here. I've got something for you. For me, said George. What do you think he's made? For you, said Bear, as she handed him a small paper hat. It's magic. Really? Asked George. Really, said Bear. If you wear this hat, I am quite sure that you will be able to do almost anything, even roller skating. But Bear, I can't. You can, George, said Bear. Just put the hat on. Do you think it's a magic hat? So George did pop the hat on and the roller skates, and off he went. Oh, Bear, said George, you said if I wore the magic hat I could do almost anything, but I can't. I'm just too wobbly. Of course you can, said Bear. You just need to give the magic chance to work. Have another go, George. So George gave the magic a chance, and he had another go. And after a time, he found he was roller skating. Hooray! The magic hat is working, said George. I wonder what else it can do. George dared to try a little dancing. And in no time at all, he found that his footwork was quite fancy indeed. Well, how about that, said George. I can dance. George leapt and twirled and jigged until his feet were weary, and then he tried a spot of painting. Hurrah, said George, I can paint. After all that, George thought he might try a bit of reading. Look, Bear, look at me, I'm reading, said George. Oh, thank you, Bear. I love my magic hat. And just like that, George found he was extremely busy doing this and that and more besides, until... No! Cried George. Oh, Bear, the hat is lost. The magic is gone, and now I can't do almost anything. Don't worry, said Bear. The hat may be lost, but the magic isn't gone. You see, George, that hat was just a folded up piece of paper. The magic, that came from you. I'm magic? Asked George. You are, said Bear. Just think of all those wonderful things you did. With and without the hat. George, when you give your magic a chance, you can do almost anything. I can, said George. I can. And once George knew this, he tried ever so hard to always give his magic a chance, even when he was a little bit wobbly.